Hey guys, we're here to we're going to restore this Soul Calibur today. So go over a few things we're going to do today. Pretty much what we're going to do is we're just going to disassemble everything and get ready to paint and bondo the cabinet. So we're going to take this coin door off down here. We're going to take this panel off, this glass off, all this stuff, the T-molding. Then we're going to go through and sand the cabinet down. Get some bondo on there, sand that down, and get it ready for painting. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll come right back. Taking a look in here, there's no connector for this control panel, so since we're going to have to redo all these joysticks anyway, we're just going to pull all the connectors off, and we'll use a test mode in the game to figure out where they go in the end, if the game board even works. So we're going to go ahead and pull all these, we'll just pull all the buttons off and throw them in there for now, because we're going to have to redo this panel right here. So we're going to take this off, and then we'll go ahead and disassemble this glass, and same with that marquee. As you can see, someone used good old-fashioned paint to fill in some of the holes right here, and it's also painted the glass. Great time. Now I'll just generally go through and remove all this T-molding right here. Just kind of get under there with a better screwdriver than this. Usually it pulls right off, unless somebody's glued it with hot glue. Because we're going to end up replacing all this anyway. It's not that expensive, and it makes your game look really nice. So just chuck that wherever. Falling apart anyway. There we go. You can see it's already going right here. Let's this up real quick. Alright, so we're getting down there. So we got the marquee off, we got the glass off, we exposed the bare monitor tube. I'm sure it's really dirty. Oh yeah, filthy. As you can see down in here, a lot of crud and things. So what we're going to do now is we're going to remove this coin door, getting ready to prep for the cabinet repair. Remove this coin door, and since these panels disassemble, we'll probably unbolt this, take this panel off, see if we need to address some damage. So I'll go ahead and, if you never removed a coin door before, there's these little fingers, you kind of see them here, that kind of hold the door onto the wood. So basically you got to loosen these up, and this thing pops out, and the whole thing will just fly out forward. So we'll take these bolts off, take this panel off, and make it easier to paint. Plus we're going to want to paint and stay underneath this area, so it's all, instead of trying to get to these corners, it's just easier to take this off. It's only 4 bolts. And then there may be structural problems with this panel anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the control panel and the coin door, and we'll go from there. As you can see, like these things, you just loosen these up. It's kind of hard to see in here. You see that? The right size nut. Just loosen these up. Thing turns right over. Let's go ahead and do that over here. See, they just start falling loose. I find this open-ended wrench actually works the best, especially when you're dealing. You have to go through this door here from the inside. Sometimes you can't get in here like this. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of these. There's actually sometimes there's some at the top and the bottom too, so you got to watch for that. This door will come right off. And we're painting and we're going to redo this door and stuff. It's a lot easier to do it when it's off. Usually the coin door has a different texture and paint color. And the rest of the cabinet. Usually these were powder coated. The cabinet was painted at one point. So up here on this top one. I've already disconnected the wiring harness. You know, I'm familiar enough with these games, so I don't have to mark it off. There you go, we should be pretty loose. Get that loose. Pops right out of there like so. Put this over we'll get to this thing later. And there you go. We're almost ready to start sanding and painting. We're also going to remove these bolts. See, they put bolts right here for the big lockdown bars that used to be on here. So people don't pry open and take the quarters out. We're going to actually take all this stuff off. Take all this stuff off, and then we're going to fill these holes so it doesn't even look like they're there. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll take those off, and we'll come right back. Okay, well, we got those bolts off. We got the control panel off. We're getting down there. Another thing we have to address is the bottom of the cabinet. And I generally do that sooner than later, just because you don't want the cabinet really nice on the side and muck up all your work flipping it over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the cabinet on its side. I have one of those little 4-wheel dollies down there. Just going to tip this over, put it on its side so we can get to the bottom of the game and see what's going on down there. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to clean up the bottom. It looks pretty good. We're going to take off those rusty leg levers and we're going to put fresh new ones on. And we'll go through that right now. If you're lucky, they screw right off. Not so lucky. A lot of people don't do this. A lot of people don't do this at all. But if you don't do this and you put it on your nice floor, in your awesome game room, you're gonna have big old rust rings. After you know, on your nice brand new carpet, you know all this that. So, and we'll go ahead and remove these, and we'll keep going from there. All I do is take some simple green, just clean up this mess. I know it doesn't really matter that much, but it was, you know, a clean game is a nice game, right? So, a lot of crap under here. Nobody wants dead spiders in their house, rat turds, you know. We'll address all this corner damage too. For now, we're just going to get it clean on the bottom. Normally, I would do the electronics to make sure this game works, but we're gonna save this cabinet no matter what. And if this game doesn't work, we'll put a different game in here. So we're gonna make this cabinet nice, and hopefully the Soul Calibur game actually works. If it doesn't, I got another game. And I got 4 brand new leg levers in here somewhere. You can get these anywhere from like Twisted Quarter or Half Controls. That's why I buy a lot of stuff. It's expensive though. I actually put a little bit of WD-40 on here. That helps clean out some of the gunk in these holes. We got lucky this time that all these plates are fine. I do have other plates. Sometimes you have to change those. So my hands are all full of grease and then you can't turn it in there. And even if this game doesn't go in somebody's basement, let's say it goes to a bowling alley or a movie theater or something, it's nice to have these that turn easy. Nothing worse than trying to set up a big location or something and your game's crooked, it's wobbling, and there's some cruddy lever on the bottom of here. You're sitting there on the floor of a movie theater. Not the cleanest places sometimes. Trying to do what I did with that wrench and pry one of these things off, you don't want to be doing that. Greasy now. This hole's a little cruddy. See what the problem is. There's actually a little piece of crud on the other side here. What is that? Figures. Wipe over here. wise to spray these holes out some air while the junk is falling through there. There we go. 4 brand new legs for some lucky guy or gal. 40 weight. I'm gonna just flip this thing back up. We're gonna try to put this on a cart so we can get around these sides and the front of it without hitting the the concrete. And then we'll come back then. Is we have these little plastic corner holders. Since we're painting the cabinet, we might as well paint all of the cabinet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those out real quick here. Just pop these out real quick. Maybe. That. I gotta get a better screwdriver. Seems like every time I say quick or easy, it's never quick or easy. Just pop it out. Those in the coin bucket with the screws. There we go. And we got those out of there. There we go. We got it on a 4-wheel cart. And now we can just easily move it around. We can get to the corners. Really easy. And we can address things like this. The game itself is actually falling apart. Yeah, this has got some cabinet issues. You can see this cabinet's actually just coming right off of here. We may have to address that first. Staples have all come off. It's kind of wobbly. If the game can't be handled being thrown on its side and back up, that's bad. So, sure isn't going to last on a truck. So we'll address that. We'll restaple this and some wood glue in there and stuff, and reinforce it. Not ideal. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through and address that cabinet issue. I'm going to have to do that, and we'll sand off the areas where we're going to put bondo. We're going to use automotive bondo. I'll show you that when we get to it. We're going to sand all this area so the bondo sticks, and then we'll sand the whole cabinet again. And there'll probably be a few other areas down here that are peeling up, if you can see that. We'll have to address that. And probably some of these corners. So, not a whole lot of bondo work. Filling holes, not so big a deal. The cabinet issue is actually not the brightest thing in the world, but hey, that's life. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sand that stuff, and I'll take care of that cabinet issue, and we'll come right back. One other thing I'm going to take care of, since we're doing a lot of cabinet damage here, is I'm going to take care of this control panel. And you can see that somebody just drove a bunch. I took some of the screws out already. So just drove a bunch of drywall screws in here and through the sides to try to shore this up. And we're going to have to basically take this all apart, take these drywall screws out, and do it proper with staples and glue and stuff. So we're going to take all this out, cut off all the previous staples that are in here, and then re-glue it and staple it. And then we'll go through and bondo and paint this and sand it at the same time as the cabinet. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we'll cut right back to you. Okay, I've re-glued and stapled this corner. It's kind of a gluey mess, but maybe a bit of staples in there. I used kind of staple overkill, but it's nice and solid. Once that glue dries, it'll be even more solid. And also back here, I've recut new corner pieces, and I've also just glued the hell out of those and stapled those in there, as you can see right there. What we're going to do is just a little bit of sanding work, and we're going to get ready for bondo. I'm just going to sand these areas here, around here, maybe on the back side. I'm no expert at this, I just kind of do it. There's a washer left on there. These washers are stuck on here. Goes. Grab the sander. Use kind of a higher grit sandpaper. We want this to be kind of tacky, so let's make sure this compressor's off. Nothing special. We just want some surface area for bondo to stick. Not a whole lot, really. There's some chunks missing. Since we're bondoing, I'll probably just bondo a little bit here and there everywhere. So we'll sand up there as well. Got a chunk out of it, and somebody's actually painted over the chunk. So there we go. Do a little bit more of the bottom one. These little bottom pieces really annoy me down here. Little frayed end sticking out. It probably doesn't need to be done right now, but really can't stand looking at it anymore. I think I'm going to wait for this glue to dry. So I may want to throw some bondo in these cracks just to make it even. So I think that way it'll look nicer. I think we're going to end it here for today. Thanks for watching.